Hey guys, this is Yuli, and today I'm gonna show you how to set up Strapi with MongoDB Atlas. Now this is something I had to figure out myself recently, and there's a lot of information that is in kind of bits and pieces here and there, so I decided I'm gonna try and bring it all together in one video. Now before I jump into the whole setup, I would just like to quickly go over why you would want to use Mongo. Now by default, if you use the npx create Strapi app with quick start, Strapi will use SQLite as the default database, which is completely fine and sufficient for the local environment, but a lot of people want to deploy their Strapi backend, and one of the most popular free places to do that is Heroku. However, Heroku's file system is ephemeral, which basically means that the data containers are going to be reset frequently, at least once a day. That's why we need a reliable place to store our Strapi data. Now, the first thing we want to do before we actually connect is to create a MongoDB Atlas project. So we would create a new project, give it a random name, and after the project is created, we want to build a cluster. Now we are going to choose a free tier. We can keep all of this default. And now the cluster is going to get built, and I will see when it is done building. So after a couple of minutes, our cluster is created and we can continue on. Now there's a couple of things that we also want to do in here. First things first, we want to go to a database access and create a user. Now this user could be anything we want. I'll give him the name of admin, and the password is just going to be some random stuff. Now you want to know this password because we're going to need it later on. And we're giving him read and write privileges. Huh. Okay, I guess we are going to give him a stronger password. All right. Now we have this admin user, and the second thing you want to do is you want to whitelist all IP addresses. So this is kind of like if you were working locally, you would want to just add your current IP, but because we kind of want to access it from different places, we will allow access from anywhere. All right. Now we can go to our text editor and set up our Strapi. Here I have VS Code open and just a random empty folder. I'm going to use the built-in terminal, and what we would normally do is we would go npx create Strapi app, and we would give it we would let it know which folder we want to run into. So in this folder, and we would usually tag on a quick start parameter, and that would set it up with SQLite, and this is totally fine. But if we want to run it with MongoDB, we want to take it away and let it run like that. Now it's going to ask us a couple of questions, and we want to choose a custom installation, and we want to use Mongo. Database name is going to be the same. Now it's going to ask us a couple of questions, and where you want to get this info from is from this. If we go to our MongoDB Atlas and go to clusters, we have this connect button, and here we can connect it to our application. Now, I used a 3.0 or later string, so that's what I'm gonna use today, but if it doesn't work, make sure you use 3.6 or later if for some reason this doesn't work. Okay, so this string contains all the information we need for our connection. For host, which is what it's asking us right here, we want to use this string right here. Everything up until the slash. So I'm just gonna copy that and paste that in. SRV connection, we want it to be true. Port we don't care about since we enabled SRV. Username, this is the username that you created. So for me, this would be admin, and it's going to ask us for password also, which is the password that you set up for this user. So username would be admin, and password that I set up, authentication database, doesn't matter, we could leave it blank, and we want to enable SSL. And it's going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to set itself up. All right, now after our dependencies have all been installed, we can run npm run develop and run our Strapi server. Now the first time it's going to build out the configs. Now after everything is done setting up, we want to create a user, and this is going to transfer to when we upload this, so might as well set up the real one. All right, now a couple of things we want to do on this dashboard. First of all, obviously we want to build out our new content type. So let's just say posts, and let's say it has a title and a description. Sure. Let's save that. And let's add one. Let's say it's Strapi and Mongo Atlas. This is a blog post about Strapi and Mongo. All right, let's save this up. And you see it automatically got added this ID, which is not a typical Strapi ID. You can already see that it's the kind of ID that MongoDB assigns when you add things to database. Another thing we want to do here is add permissions. We want to find one. And we are good to go. Now what we want to do now is we're going to go back to our MongoDB Atlas, and you already see we have some activity here. So if we go into our collections, we will see all of the Strapi entries, and here we can see our posts, and here it is. Here's the post that we created with title, description, and everything. All right. That sounds amazing. Now, what we want to do now is we want to try and upload it, deploy it to Heroku. Let's work on that. Now, to deploy it to Heroku, we want to go to Heroku. I'm already logged in here. We want to create a new app. Random Strapi. Sure, let's create it. And here it basically tells us everything we need to know about deploying Strapi app. We want to go to our project. We will stop it. And there's a couple ways you can do this. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is you want to initiate a repository. And with VS Code, what you have is this built-in source control plugin, and this I find it to be much easier to use than typing in, adding everything and then writing commit. This is just a lot easier, and for things like that, I find it easier to just use this. So we want to write commit. You want to commit this whole thing, and to push it to Heroku, first we want to add it as a remote repository, and after that we just want to push it to Heroku. Now, what it's going to do now, it's going to basically build out our application from scratch on the server. So this is going to take maybe a minute, maybe more, and I'm going to be back when it's done building out. All right, now our project is done uploading, and now what we want to do is just type in Heroku open, and here we go. Random Strapi Heroku app.com. We have it. Now we want to log into the admin interface, log in with the admin that we have created, and here we go. We see our post, and we can add new ones. There we go. They're going to be saved. And that is pretty much it. You can access everything that you have created the same way as you would do it on your local machine, except that now you can make calls to a live backend server. Thank you very much for paying attention to this tutorial. Sorry for the clicky blue keyboard. And I hope you enjoyed this one. See you next time.